your stink eye. We try our best and we're successful. Come watch our show that River sponsors. It's time to start. Enjoy the show. Don't give us the bug. Don't give us your stink eye. We try our best and we're successful. Come watch our show that River sponsors. It's time to start. Enjoy the show. Oh.
Well, welcome in everyone to Betting Weekly Live. It is Friday, the 12th of December, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Simon Holden, a man who has Everton wallpaper in his bedroom, a man who knows the winners of next year's golf majors already, and a man who knows how to drive around Silverstone backwards. So welcome in, Simon. How you doing?
At least two of those are not true, Steve. Yeah. I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here to kick off the weekend with my pal, the Meat Man, and so many of our friends already asking questions. And that's what we want. It's going to be a fantastic week's footy.
It is. It's exciting times, and we're going to be talking about all of today's major games. Also, a look ahead to the weekend, a bit of talk on EPL futures, and the Everton early kickoff tomorrow, plus the huge match in the Northeast, the Tyne-Wear derby between Sunderland and Newcastle. Now, yesterday, just before we go on here, some notable winners and losers. There was a lot of action on the Aston Villa versus Basel game, especially in play. People betting on the over 2.5 in the first half, over goals in the first half as well. I'm reckoning about 75 grand in total here. The biggest bet was the Aston Villa team total over 0.5 first half goals at minus 175, $24,000. That was a winner. There was a 10,000 play in South America on the strongest in Bolivia to beat Real Tomayopo. It was live over 3.5 goals, and it was a loser, minus 109. And a real long shot winner, which caught my eye, Simon. $20 on Kyle Pitts to have at least 3 touchdowns in the Falcons-Buccaneers game. And it was $20 at 110 to 1. And that netted that particular bet at $2,200. The small plays are out there if you know where to look. That is an incredible winner. That's probably the biggest winner I've come across for these small odds plays. How was your betting day yesterday?
Very good, actually. I've been doing the. I'm not going to give the name that we've given it in our little group, but it's a bet where you oppose Celtic and Rangers, and it really has been the old money in the street. And so, of course, with Rangers losing the early game, you needed Roma to beat Celtic. There's so many Celtic pals. I have to be so careful, Steve, upsetting people. So many Celtic pals. But, when Roma went 2-0 up, really, it was time to relax. So, again, it's all about finding a play, isn't it? And then riding that wave and eventually, knowing when to get off. But that bet just keeps paying and paying. So it's been one of the little nuggets for me. So, yes, very, very good night yesterday.
I had a poor day, actually. It was one of my poorest Europa days in a long time. And I was let down badly by the lack of goals in the FCA Midtjylland game. And then
you were sweet on that. Yeah, listen to that.
Yeah, there was a lot of chances, but not enough convert. But the sickener for me was Porto against Malmo. I was so frustrated I was going to be getting only a push on the -2 because Porto missed a lot of chances to go 3-0 up. And then the last kick of the game, Malmo scored. It was an own goal. It was a ridiculous own goal. Anyone who's seen this goal will know.
Yeah,
it was one of the worst bad beats.
Comical.
Yeah. I actually laughed.
Yeah.
But because at that stage I was beyond fuming. So the betting gods weren't with me. I was saved by an under in Finland, thankfully, the Cups game. That saved my ass, really. But I was down, unfortunately, which is unlike me for Europa. It's my favourite competition. But it can happen. Welcome in, everyone. Put your best bets in today. Good to see Leslie Mack. ZT as well, Duncan Evans. Mr. Gargoyle is mentioning the RB Leipzig game. Father Brian, good to see you. McTrowbridge is looking forward to hearing about the Bundesliga matchup as well. William Jenner and Buelo Charles, the great one, is interested in Leipzig as well. Villa fan, we're going to be talking about Villa later. Mike, Christian Barnes, Mattes, Steve from Lynn, Trowbridge says Dunkirk on the money line looks good. Claudio, always a pleasure to see Claudio in chat. Real Brennan King. Brad Betts as well. And it seems there's quite a lot of interest in this Leipzig game in general. So I suppose we'd better start there, actually.
Yes.
By the way, shout out to James Easton yesterday, who thankfully did have a great day. We nearly got a 12-1 over parlay from James over the line. We were just let down by Panathinaikos. When you needed a goal, we had Rafa Benitez in charge against 10 men, and that just sums it up, really. But anyway, yeah, we will start with this Leipzig game, Simon, if I can actually find the graphic for it, and I can now. Here we are, Union Berlin against RB Leipzig. And I think in terms of the actual stats, RB Leipzig will be a really, really popular bet today.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to oppose them, though. I'm opposing them here. I've got a lean on Union Berlin, draw no bet, and the main reason is team news. If you just look at who Leipzig are missing here, I don't know how this has happened because they've not had that many games this season. There's not any like fixture congestions, but they're missing about 10 players, including key men like Nusa, Hendricks. I mean, some of these guys have been out for a long time, it must be said, but I don't like their team news. There's a couple of guys walking wounded as well. But they are in great form, which might sort of counteract it and balance it out. But I will say this with RB Leipzig, most of their best form has been at home. You know, you look away from home, they lost to Hoffenheim. They only drew with Gladbach the last time they were on a Friday night 0-0. Be careful overs backers, by the way, because everyone went on the overs in that game. And Leipzig and Gladbach kind of stunk the place out offensively. But 6-0 win against Eintracht Frankfurt, they've got to be full of themselves in that one. I don't mind opposing a team that when they've just won 6-0, though. Sometimes it can get to their head. Union Berlin, for me here, mostly the team news factor is influencing me here, Simon. And I think it's worth a small bet here at plus 115 on the home team, which is they're a team I rarely bet on, Union Berlin, I've got to be honest. But it can be known as quite a home fortress, and maybe they can catch RB Leipzig cold. But you can't deny the form of the visitors is certainly better on paper.
Well, the thing is, this is a classic Union. I think lost the last three at home, certainly not beaten anybody in the last three. Leipzig have been running riot, mainly at home. Of course, that big 6-0 win that you've just alluded to. But of course, the Leipzig here is not the Leipzig that's been doing the heroics, is it? That they're all in the old treatment room. But will the sort of club be on such a high that's one of those where the people who come in continue things rolling? I don't know enough about their bigger squad, Steve. You would know whether they can carry that amount of injuries. If they can't, surely all's not what it seems in the odds for this game. And you're right, it could be that the value is with this pretty shocking virtual wipeout of the first team. It could be that, the home team could cause what would seem to be a surprise. So has the market, in your view, overreacted to that 6-0?
Yes, a little bit, I think. We know that Eintracht Frankfurt on a bad day are really, really bad. They were good against Barcelona, but they were shocking last week. And I think Leipzig, they're a decent side, Leipzig, but I just think in this instance, the odds should be more of a pick-em. It should be minus 110 each on the draw no bet line, which is why I think the value is there with Union Berlin. I mean, in terms of the split for the game, this is interesting, Simon, right? We've got 80% of the tickets on RB Leipzig, but 56% of the money's on Union Berlin. So, all right, it's not a lot, but it's still more, which maybe there is smart money on Union Berlin in this game. Yeah. Of course, what RB Leipzig do have is one of the best young talents in world soccer now, Jan Diamande. If you've not heard about this kid, you will hear about him in the next couple of years. Ivory Coast international. He scored a hat-trick last week, and he plays anywhere on the right-hand side, really. But this guy's quality. And, this is a weapon that they've got, and he's clearly really, really confident at the moment, is Jan Diamande. Someone's at my door. I'm going to need someone to answer. Someone's going to answer it for me. Thankfully, I don't know who's there. But, Jan Diamande. But hopefully it'll be... anyway, give us... did you have a bet for this game, Simon?
Well, I did, but until this team news has scared me off it. I actually think that when you get a situation where you look, this Union team at home have been poor, the other team are flying here. Now, a lot of it's been done at home, but surely they can come and add to Union's woes. But this late team news has scared me off betting them. So what do? Do I not have a bet at all? Do I play the tie?
Well, there's loads of other matches. That's the thing. You don't have to get involved. That's
yeah.
the thing,
No, I'm going to back off this one. I would argue that the stat about the amount of money that is actually on the home team now would suggest to me that a few people have started to think like you have and think all's not what it appears in this match. And remember, folks, you don't have to bet in it. There's loads of games tonight. Now, I'm scared off this one, Steve. I might follow you in with the home team. Was it draw no bet?
Yeah, but it's certainly not a big bet. I'll say that much. This is only a small bet. I'm not getting heavily involved in this game either, really. I guess I'm more kind of warning people off RB Leipzig a little bit. There's an interesting bet in chat here from Marisk, I think it was, who's put, Matesk, sorry. Under 2.5 goals he likes. And do you know what? I've got a sneaky feeling that might land because Union Berlin, their sort of traditional way against the bigger teams is to defend. And I mentioned that 0-0 draw a couple of Fridays ago when no one expected it. It wouldn't actually surprise me. It's a difficult one. Union, who else? Someone said that they don't bet on Union very often either. And I think it's with a good bit of advice in general. They're a tough team to actually call. But Diamanda, interesting stat there from the half space. He's had 2 or more shots in 13 of his last 13 games, if you include the super sub rule some have. Let's say this Diamanda is worth watching out for. And if they can bottle him up, though, I know what I would do if I was, doing an opposition game plan against him. I'd double up on him. Maybe even treble up on him sometimes and get the young lad frustrated because they will get frustrated if they don't have the space. Let someone else have to do the work and, they've still got a bit of quality, but don't let him, whatever you do, don't do what Frankfurt did and let him have the freedom of the park.
But with so many new players coming into the team tonight, they've not been featuring. There is an element of possible confusion and this is one of those wealth warnings on the. This is why you've got to always follow late team news before you go in heavy.
Yeah, do you know what? You could, and they're the only team, Union Berlin, that actually did take points off Bayern Munich as well this season. The only team so far. I think that deserves a little bit of credit. And they could have beat them. Harry Kane scored in the last 94th minute to equalise. So Union do sometimes raise it for the big games, that's for sure. But anyway, we'll move on again. We've got another match here in Italy, this time Lecce against Pisa. And this doesn't really warrant great watching, does it, Simon, based on the stats at all? This is a 2:45 p.m. Eastern time. Lecce are the favourites at plus 145. Pisa plus 240. The tie is, this is really short for the tie at this time of the season, but it just shows you what is expected here. 0-0 will be the most favoured scoreline. 2 poor teams. They're in the bottom 4. Lecce, I've got a ticket on them to be relegated this season. I think they're really not a great outfit. And Pisa have just struggled mightily, really, on their promotion. But hanging in there, just 1 win for them. Sometimes these games can open up, but neither side has shown any attacking potential this season, Sam.
I have actually bet Lecce and the unders, so I've had 2 bets in this. I think a very poor team manages to beat an equally poor team who are playing away from home and have been slightly worse. I think this will be a dull, horrible 1-0 possibly. I think this is going to be pretty grim viewing for anybody. This is on the app, I presume, Steve?
Yeah, it will. It will be on the Bet Rivers app. And let me just go through that to the notable streams today because I forgot to mention them.
So if you are having a bet in this and following me in and you are going to watch it on the app, my advice to make it more exciting is to possibly cover the screen with a sheet or something like that, because this is going to be dull. But I do think the home team will have the upper hand here, but it ain't going to be pretty.
0-0's plus 500 for this game, by the way.
That's not the worst.
The Asian goal line is at 2. Over 2 goals is plus 110. Under 2 Asian goals is minus 137. I actually thought the genuine line would be 1.75, and it is heading towards that way, in fairness. Because, if you look at the metrics, if you look at the actual goals scored on the field, there's not enough to suggest that either team really will produce much. So, best bet for the game. So, Lecce... Tell me the combo again, Simon, for the game.
I like just looking at. I've written 3 things down, and while we're talking about it, both teams to score no, unders, and Lecce.
Let's say double chance, was it? Oh, to win.
Yeah.
I mean, it's take your pick of those.
They're the angles I'd be playing on this.
Yeah, I don't really. This is not a match I'll be watching. I'll be honest. It is on the BetRivers app and betrivers.com. You can also watch Real Sociedad against Girona, West Brom.
Watch that instead.
Angers, Nantes as well. You've got matches in Belgium, 5 League 2 games, and of course the PDC World Championship darts. I would imagine in terms of pure entertainment and actually in running potential as well. Although I suppose there's people might be watching in running for under. In running potential, I'm usually looking for goals if I'm betting in running. Father Brian likes 0-0 at half time, and he likes a half time, full time draw. Efri Brilovsky has an opposing view here. He thinks Pisa will have to go for it, so he likes over 2 Asian goals. And sometimes I do have this theory actually, when 2 desperate sides are against each other, but we're probably not quite at the real desperation stage yet for both sides. If it was towards the end of the season, I'd say yes. It could be a random goal feast. But at the moment,
you often get the manager saying, look, if you can't beat this lot who are as bad as you are, we're in big trouble. So it's that up and at 'em talk before, but sometimes the teams are just not good enough to go out and do it.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right. I mean, some of the away games, Giuseppe mentions this, there's been overs for Pisa. It's been weird, but they've actually looked a little bit better against some of the more the better teams, for want of a better word. Maybe because they just get a bit more space in behind and teams. But Lecce are not the sort of team who probably will give them much space, really, in terms of that. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. I don't think it's going to be a classic by any means. But let's move to a game where I know you've got the first part of the Daily Double for a start and possibly some other plays too. We're going to the English Championship today. This is West Brom against Sheffield United, a rampant Sheffield United of late. Chris Wilder's really turned things around here, and West Brom haven't been in terrible form either. West Brom are the favourites at plus 128. Sheffield United at plus 170 are going to be a popular bet amongst a lot of people, I would imagine. You've got an over 2.5 goal line, which is very equal with the under 2.5 goal line. West Brom actually, they have lost their last 2 games. They've been inconsistent. Sheffield United flying. Sheffield United an obvious bet?
I think they are. I mean, I was looking at a sort of starting point. The last 6 away, Sheffield United. The last 6 homes, West Brom. Now, historically, 5 out of the last 6 times these two have met, you've catched on the unders. But I can see this flipping that completely, because Sheffield, since he's come back, Steve, they're a different team. They are literally a different team. The confidence is back. The attacking tactics and outlook are back. And West Brom have suddenly started to look somewhat vulnerable and leaky. And I mean, I cannot see Sheffield United not doing anything but really coming out on the front foot here. And I could see them edging a high-scoring thriller. I think this will be an absolute belter. This will be the opposite.
Do you take the money line? Do you take the money line?
Oh, yeah. On the money line, yeah. I think they're too big.
Plus
I think they're too big. And I tell you why, because I don't think the market has caught up to the new regime just quite yet. What we were saying earlier about the old firm anti-bet, eventually markets always catch up with these angles. So in a couple of weeks, Sheffield United might not be value anymore because they're going to be charging up the table. But at the moment, people will still look at the league table, look at their overall season, and that's slightly factored into this price. The last 2 away performances have been extremely impressive. And I just don't see that he'll let up on how they're playing. I know West Brom are a decent team, but they have been a bit wobbly lately defensively, Steve. I don't think there's any point Sheffield coming out and playing this safe. I think they're just looking up, and they'll want to put like 5-6 wins together. I think they're a cracking bet. I think this is one of the best bets of the whole weekend's football. Sheffield tonight.
That is very interesting. I mean, there's a lot of people mentioning in chat here that perhaps goals could be on the agenda here. Mattes likes both teams to score. Yes, Trowbridge says he's liking Sheffield as well. Sheffield United, that is. There's Alna Hegabo for West Brom. He's been in great form. 6 goals in 6 games. I've seen a lot of him over in Norway for Brann, and he's finally found his feet here. I know Sean Calvert, renowned West Brom fan, wasn't impressed with him initially, but even Sean's been converted of late, I do believe. And, credit to Chris Wilder. He's done an incredible feat of management. He's got Patrick Bamford scoring goals, which that just takes what they're doing now, doesn't it?
Can you give him Beto's number, Steve, please? Ask if he's free Tuesday.
Patrick Bamford has scored 2 goals in his last 4 games, and he's not even started in a couple of those. So, listen,
the man is a wizard.
Right. Yeah, he's doing something right. So Sheffield went.
And the fans will go there tonight, and it'll be a hell of an atmosphere tonight. And the Blades are back. I know a couple of Sheffield United fans who've been moaning all year. In the last 2-3 weeks, the whole atmosphere has completely changed at that club.
Yeah,
and when they get on a roll, this is a club that can really put runs of wins together under this guy as well.
I'm starting to think if they might be a bet to win the playoffs, Sheffield United. Because
what a story.
Yeah. I mean, part of me doesn't want that to win. I don't really like Sheffield United much, as you know.
I can't stand it.
I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? They're probably the second most hated club in Yorkshire behind Leeds, aren't they?
Yeah, behind your lot.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one, but you cannot deny what Wilder's been doing.
Listen, this is about making money, folks. I mean, it really is. They are a knocking bet tonight, I think, for all those reasons. They're in form. They're an aggressive team. West Brom have been leaking goals. I mean, West Brom, the thing is both teams to score. So I'm not saying this is going to be like a 3-4-0. I think that Sheffield, the bet is to edge a high-scoring match.
That's going to be our daily double play today. Both teams score yes in this game. You kind of explained it. But just talk about the West Brom angle, Simon. They've obviously got goals in them at the minute, and you think they're going to test the United defence a bit.
Yeah, I do. I mean, West Brom, for all this has been a low-scoring fixture historically, certainly in the last 2-3 years, West Brom's problem this year, or recently, has not been not scoring. It's been letting too many in. So I don't think this is going to be a remotely defensive game. I see West Brom getting at least one. Their home form has been kind of patchy, but they've got goals in them. I think that these are two teams who are going to go up the league as the season goes on. I think it's quite a false position for the pair of them. However, I think Sheffield United are going to go up the league, like you say, into a playoff spot. And this could see West Brom finishing 8th, something like that. So I just think Sheffield United are a better team, but this is going to be all action.
Sheffield United are, with Bet Rivers, plus 900 to obtain promotion from the Championship.
That's not a bad bet.
West Brom are 14-1 for those.
And remember, good bets in any sport are asking either an individual or a club to do something which they've already proved they can do. And this guy has proved he can get teams out of this league. He knows how to do it. And he has got... Can you imagine how he will feel if he could pull this off, Steve, after the way he's been treated?
I was amazed they brought him back, to be honest.
He was booted out and then brought back.
I'm amazed they brought him back, and I'm amazed he agreed to come back. But somehow it has worked out. And listen, there's an interesting betting split on the game, just like the previous one. 62% of the tickets are on West Brom on the money line, but 76% of the money is on Sheffield United. So again, smart money, it may well be on Sheffield United. Just 55% of the money's on the over for the game, which that surprises me. I thought a lot more would be looking at the overs, but that 1-1 correct score could be dangerous. Perhaps that's why both teams to score yes is quite sensible. I mean, Alexander here, Byrne, is saying he doesn't think Sheffield United will keep a clean sheet, so he's jumped on at them at plus 170 to score over 1.5 goals, which that could well be a good bet in addition. But the first part of your daily double is both teams score yes in this fixture. You like Sheffield United on that money line as well.
Definitely.
And we'll move to the second part of the daily double, which I'm going to provide. This is in Spain. This is Real Sociedad against Girona. And we have got a home jolly here, minus 134 on Real Sociedad. And this is a match where I am targeting the corners. Simon, I've been doing pretty well in corners of late. And the main single bet I like for this match is over 9.5 corners at minus 109. Main reason is, can you guess which team has averages the most corners per game in La Liga this season?
This is a trap, as they say. It's the away team.
It's actually Atletico Madrid. But Real Sociedad ranked third in that category, which might surprise quite a few people. Only Barcelona and Atletico Madrid above them on average corners per game for Real Sociedad. Girona, they're nothing remarkable in their corner averages this season. They concede more than they gain, which is fine by me. And I'd imagine Real Sociedad will get the most corners in the match, but I prefer to take the whole match corners in general. They tend to shoot a lot, don't convert enough chances, don't score early enough, which means they're always knocking on the door. And when teams are knocking on that door, they're getting a lot of corners in my book. So I like that. And it's part of the daily double. I'm being conservative for the daily double. And I'm only going to be adding the over 7.5 corners line here as part of that. But the official daily double comes in at plus 122 today. West Brom against Sheffield United. Both teams score yes. And Real Sociedad Girona over 7.5 corners at plus 122. I'm just playing ultra safe there. I could be a bit more aggressive, but let's just get a winner in the bag. Personally, I will nibble over 10.5 and 11.5 corners as well in this game. I think it will go. I think Real Sociedad probably in the end will find a way to beat them, but they sometimes take a bit of time to break them down. You do like the home team here, though, Simon, right?
Well, Girona are yet to win away, aren't they? I think was it 3 draws and 4 defeats. So the longer that goes on, the more negative the players' sort of outlook. So it's more an against them bet, really. But I could see this being you sort of 1-2-0 playing that, maybe split the stakes for the home team. That could be an angle. Both teams to score no, obviously, by definition. So, it's like you said, Sociedad, if you look at the stats, they're extremely wasteful. I think, was it read one that they're in the top 3 for the most one-on-ones with the keeper missed?
Yeah, it would
this
be,
year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a great stat for a team you're going to bet. But, when you're playing winless, what that means is I would think they're going to create a lot of chances tonight. So, obviously, you're right. The corners, a lot of action in that goal mouth. But, I might split stakes 1-0, 2-0. And I'm afraid Girona's hunt for a win will go on for at least another week, Steve.
Real Sociedad actually have the 7th best expected goals in La Liga. They're underachieving there. They're also underachieving slightly defensively. They have the biggest underachievement on expected points as well. Real Sociedad should be top 7, but they're not. But this is a team that wastes chances. But they've got better. A lot of those misses were at the start of the season, Simon. They have improved in that category. Girona, well, yeah, you're right. This away record for them is very worrying, isn't it? That's for sure. There's a few other... I mean, there's a couple... Efri Brailovsky's liking both teams score yes in this game at minus 110. Mates likes Real Sociedad winning under 3.5 goals. That looks about right to me. That's for sure. Dave Clark says Sociedad should win. But it does suck that they have the Orazabal is out. Got some betting splits for the game, and it's loaded by Real Sociedad. 88% of the money and 81% of the tickets are on Real Sociedad.
Not surprising.
So they'll find a way, I think, to get this one done. But
I think it's one of those where you're sort of 80%, but it's not one of those where you would slam into them, is it?
No. I don't think you could ever have a huge bet on Real Sociedad in any circumstance. But this is a time to probably get on them. I say I do like the corners. They beat Girona twice last season as well, by the way. But I mean, Girona lost Elche badly at the weekend. Looked pretty poor in that one. Lacked goals in general, and just felt like Girona had been under pressure for. I mean, they're still actually in the relegation zone, Girona as well, which isn't great for them, is it? But we'll move
the
to
pressure on your home form. If you can't even get one away, becomes unbearable, doesn't it?
Oh, it's exactly like that. It's just like that with my own club, Leeds. Great at home, terrible away, and it's horrible feeling when you go away. You're just not expecting anything. We've got one more game on the card tonight to discuss, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Premier League weekend and futures. This is in France. This is Angers against Nantes. Angers, the favourites here at plus 110, and Nantes are as big as plus 260. I think Marisk was asking me if I like Nantes on the double chance here. I don't. It's the other way that I like. I like Angers, who have been a really solid team recently. I got them wrong at the start of the season. I said they were terrible, but they've really improved their form. 3 wins in their last 4. 4 wins in their last 7, all to 0. So they can keep a clean sheet, can Angers. Nantes have been terrible. I mean, they've had 1 win since the 30th of August, which is obviously terrible. That win came at Paris FC, and ironically, that was on a Friday night. But they are a club, Nantes, who have been flirting with relegation for far too long. And eventually, I think this bites you in the ass. I really do. I think this season they could go down now if they're not careful, FC Nantes. Angers, I'm going to back them, but I'm going to back them on a handicap, minus 0.25 on the Asian handicap with Bet Rivers, which was about minus 120 the last time I looked. I'll find you the latest price now. I do want some draw security because I've got a feeling this could be a tight game. It is a local derby as such, a geographically local match. And minus 125 on that quarter of a ball handicap. The draw is a danger, I'll admit that. Just don't see Nantes winning it, Simon, personally. You've got an angle in the goals market.
Yeah, well, if you play the unders in this fixture, 5 out of the last 6 times, you're walking away with some cash. So I think that will continue tonight. I think that's the play in this game. And of course, I'm not giving anything away, but the maestro himself, the great James Eastham, has given a slightly even lower line, isn't he, on the old advent calendar. So certainly not going to argue with the great man himself, but I can see this as a very low-scoring home win. But if you play the unders with this game, you tend to win.
Yeah, there's a big history for few goals in the game. Luis Castro was sacked by, as someone mentioned in chat, Ginepi, Luis Castro was sacked just this week, actually. They brought in Ahmed Kantari, who actually used to be a decent defender back in the day. In terms of his managerial experience, he last managed Valenciennes in the second tier of French soccer, averaged 1.37 points per game. He has been the assistant of the club, so he knows the setup here, but the problem is with Nantes, this lot go through more managers than Watford sometimes, Simon. And they're
less fun to watch.
It's the same old merry-go-round. It's ridiculous. They're just a club that I feel they've never been well run for a long time. They've got a great deal of potential. They're a massive club, FC Nantes, but then just not utilising it. So for me, Angers on the handicap, I'm not going to go full money line. Because, like I said, the draw's a risk. You like the under goals in that. Check out the advent calendar today.
Yeah,
James Easton.
He goes even lower. Great man.
He does. Yeah, he does. He does go even lower. In terms of the betting splits for this game, Angers are backed 84% of the money and 90% of the tickets.
Yeah.
And then in the over-under market, very light support for the over, 71% of the money and just 60% of the tickets. Basically, that says not really fancying the overs too much overall. So, 1-0 Angers would do us nicely here, wouldn't it? Basically.
So. Everyone's a winner then, apart from Nantes fans.
As I say, the only real danger is this swift change of manager. But I'm not sure he's got long enough to have an impact yet. This is the last French round before the new year, by the way. So Kantari, what he can do, he's going to have 3 to 4 weeks after this now to get into his team. In fact, there's only one round before the 16th of January because they've got a lot of cup rounds as well.
Right time to change then, yeah.
Yeah, so I think we might see a different Nantes potentially in the new year. I would expect to see a Nantes which will, well, they're going to have to bring some players in. They've got to cut out they've got to get some clean sheets. They've only had 2 clean sheets all season. That's what you'll focus on. But I think tonight, 1-0 Angers will do the job. We've got a big weekend to look ahead to, Simon, as well. And
yes.
I'm going to ask you about a couple of games soon, but let's just have a look at some Premier League futures because probably the biggest question we get in all week in the last few weeks, and I asked Will White this on Breakdown on Wednesday night, is regarding Aston Villa, actually, who've just beat Arsenal, which is a great feat in itself. They're 28-1 to win the Premier League. They're plus 150 to finish in the top 4. Are Aston Villa legitimate this season, Simon? And you did give them out on a play pre-season. I remember that. They are third in the table. They're on fire. But they are one of these overachieving teams on their metrics. How much do we believe that these metrics are legitimate and can they keep overachieving?
Well, after they won, a little secret, I did privately message our very own Hugh Grant, the great Will White, and said, please throw me a lifeline, great man. Can Villa win the league? Are they a genuine contender? Praying for him. And of course, honest to the core, he replied, no, not really. But, it might be wrong. So there was no like crumb of comfort there. However, I totally agree with all the XG guys. All the underlying metrics suggest no. But I will sort of throw back in that they've got, I believe he's proved yet again, the best in the business at the helm. They've got Ollie Watkins playing at the top of his game again. They've got John McGinn playing at the top of his game again. And they have got a belief now in this squad. They have recently beaten the team fair and square, who everybody keeps telling me will win this league easily. So that's my counter to that. They've got 4 big games upcoming. If they can get 9 points out of the next 4, then yes, I think this is on. I think this becomes a 3-way title. And of course, if you've tailed me, and I know many of my fans have, we're on Villa at the start and we're also on Man City at 4. So we are in a great position. So the key upcoming game, of course, is the return leg with Arsenal. That who would have thought it? That becomes the biggest game in the Premier League so far. Now, we would never have thought that. So Villa are not just in this as an outsider. I think they're genuinely in this title race.
According to Understat, they should be nowhere near the title race. Aston Villa should be 13th in the table. They are overachieving by 12.32 points. The majority of that overachievement has been defensively, but I will counteract that argument by saying that they have got one of the best goalkeepers in the world who can make exceptional saves. And they've got finishers who will score low XG chances. They can score from outside the box. So I think there's a clear reasoning why they have overachieved to that degree. Expected points for me is a little bit more debatable anyway, because like when, what metric defines when you should win a game and when you should draw a game? I get it with goals and expected goals against, but points can be a little bit different. I'm guessing last weekend should have been a draw against Arsenal. Maybe that's where they gained 2 points. But anyway, it's going to be interesting. For me, the plus 150.
Well, of course, Liverpool won the league by endless injury time winners. Now, is that a false win, or is that brilliant team play, brilliant management? So there's different ways of looking at it. I just think had Villa had even a reasonable start, Steve, then they'd be winning, they'd be in the league now. So the one issue I've got is this winning run, of course, can't continue. There has to be a little downtime, and that might set them back. But at the moment, going into training there must be like going on holiday. The feeling around that club, which was desperate after 5 games. They're beating the best. They're in it. They're certainly too big a price in my view still.
Liverpool at minus 137 for the top 4. I don't know if I'd be trusting them. Chelsea at minus 112 for the top 4 as well. I mean, by the way, and I'll say this again, as I did last year, the danger of betting on a team to finish in the top 4 is that 5th place often is enough based on the coefficient thing.
Yeah.
If if the English teams perform well in Europe this year, which they are at the minute, then 5th place probably will get you the Champions League spot. So be careful in that market. But I think Villa can finish top 4. I think the plus 150 is a good bet on them there. Interesting question from Guardian JH. What was Leicester's expected goal when they won the league? We didn't have expected goals back then, Guardian. This was, 2016? And we didn't have it, did we, when they won the league? Well, if we did, then they weren't publicised as much. It'd be interesting to know, actually, what that...
What we did have was a class of media, pundits and inverted commas experts who were still in March opposing them. So Villa are a much bigger club, more respected than Leicester were in that year. So, it's this is not the procession for Arsenal that we thought 3-4 weeks ago. At the beginning of the year, people were talking up Liverpool as going to retain the title easily when they got, I think, a 5-point lead. So there's twists and turns, but there's twists and turns for everybody. So I'm pretty happy with the old portfolio at the moment, Steve, with Villa and Man City and the old Davy Crockett. So I can afford to just keep watching Arsenal and think, all right. That and as I say, the key game, if you are on this Villa train, is the away at Arsenal. If they can get a draw there, then it's game on.
Villa fan says, Villa, people are starting to wise up to Konza. He's a Rolls-Royce defender. I do love that term in soccer. Rolls-Royce player, Simon. Real Brandon King says, I remember when Steve put up Spurs for the top 6. Is it worth it now at bigger odds? I can't remember. Did I really put up Spurs at the top 6? That's
He's deleted that from the channel, that episode.
I'd be honest with you. I'm not sure because Thomas Frank... I actually like what they've done in the last week or two, but I'm not sure about the situation there at Spurs. My cat's tail gets in the way. Sean Coder's on Villa at 900 to 1. He got on them after 5 games this season. So
that's the thing. Keep the faith after 4 games. I know somebody who got on at 1,500 to 1.
I've just got a message from producer John Izzard behind the scenes. And he has mentioned about Leicester City's expected goals in their title-winning season was 54.74 and an XG against of 50.9. They scored 68 goals, so they overachieved by 14 goals. And at the other end of the field, they only conceded 36. So they overperformed their XG by 15. So that was a huge overperformance at both ends of the field when Leicester did win the Premier League. Kasper Schmeichel had a big part to saying that, of course. And, just this season, I know it's a different league, but Mjällby in Sweden did win the league by a massive margin. And their overachievement at both ends was incredible. But if you watch them, it's one of those, it's like, well, they kind of deserved it because the way they set up, they got bodies on the line. They had a really good keeper. They finished their chances well. The best teams do that, right? They just do it. You're not going to get many teams win a league or finish top 4 and underachieve, Simon. The only team that ever did that was Marcelo Bielsa's Leeds United. We should have got even more points than we did. But the best teams do overachieve. Anyway, before we go, I want to talk to you about a couple of games on the slate this weekend.
Yeah.
The first is, now there's a saying right over here: never bet the early kickoff in the Premier League. Right. And the Premier League boys, I do believe, by the way, you can watch the Premier League show. It's out already. The Premier League boys, I don't think they've got heavily involved in this one. But Chelsea against Everton is technically the early game on the slate. There's only 2 games at 3:00 on Saturday. So these are the 2 early games. Chelsea, Everton, your team, you know a lot about them. I struggle to get a hold on Everton at the minute. And I struggle to get a hold on Chelsea as well. Would you back Chelsea at minus money, though, Simon?
No.
Or not?
No, I mean, actually, somebody who works for Everton told me this, that Christmas is a time of review and preview. And I think Everton are the ultimate team for that because Moyes must be reviewing what's happened. Nigel, of course, said that the bet was for Everton to be in the top half. I was a little bit dubious about that. But they are flying out. They're 4 wins in 5 games. And the preview section is that what do Moyes and the the coaching squad think that this team can achieve. Because I would have, you see, I followed Moyes at Everton. I always think he writes off the big games and he goes for the winnables. And this is a sort of game the old David Moyes will have written off. We're going to get beat. We'll concentrate on next week, whoever at home. But in this form, having won at Man U with 10 men for 80 minutes, I actually think there's a feeling in the camp that they can get something. And I don't think Everton will get beat. I thought Chelsea have been hit the first bad spell, really, in the year. And there's all sorts of rumours of a few things behind the scenes at Chelsea not being too good. So I'm betting Everton on the Asian handicap. They achieve what many thought they wouldn't do at Old Trafford. This is a notch up. And what amazes me, Steve, is they're doing it without a striker who can even get a shot on target, never mind a striker who can score. So it's an incredible midfield performance from Dewsbury Hall and the boys there. But that can't continue. Moyes needs to address that in January. Now, there are rumours that our old friend Beto will be heading your way, Steve. And I'm quite happy to put a few quid for the old Uber fare on that one. But Everton need a striker. However, I think they keep rolling for a while yet. And I think Everton on the Asian handicap is a play tomorrow. I know there's about plus 500, plus 400 on the away win. You probably want a bit bigger to get interested in that. So play safe, play a minus a goal. And that midfield at the moment is seriously effective. So Everton plus points for the year. Chelsea, I thought they looked all at sea against you, Steve. I know you played well at Leeds, but I thought they were very, very naive in their approach to that match. So let's go Everton on the Asian.
Everton plus 3/4 of a goal, minus 106 with Bet Rivers. And for those who are interested in the money line, it's plus 420. You are right about Dewsbury Hall. He's the player I've got my eye on at the minute. Silky smooth technician, and he's just in brilliant form. And this is a name that's going to be on people's radars over the next few months. You watch on the build-up for the World Cup. So
Grealish gets the headlines, he gets the result, as an Everton fan told me last week. So there's something in that. And of course, he's a very streaky goal scorer as well. And the strikers aren't scoring. The old anytime scorer market at the moment, Dewsbury Hall could be somebody that you really take seriously.
Yeah, I'm just looking at his odds now with Bet Rivers to score any time. He's plus 650 with Bet Rivers to score any time, and 18-1 for the first goal scorer. He's on free kicks, right? He's on some of the free kicks. I'm sure he is.
And also with the lack of strikers, no offense to this Barry, I mean, he couldn't hit a barn door with a handful of rice, as they said. So there is so much pressure on Grealish, him, Alcaraz to get forward and get behind him. So they're actually more likely to be having shots on target than him and Beto are. So they become like massive value in that anytime scorer market.
Well, the strikers at Everton have more become what I call impact players in terms of helping the overall team rather than scoring. Yeah. Like one thing they can do, well, Barry can. He can hold the ball a bit, get involved. Beto tries to do the same thing. He has no control of the ball though. But they're not goal scorers, are they? They're sort of.
He's what I call a no impact player.
Talking of impact,
yes.
Final game I want to talk to you about is a big match on Sunday. It is the derby in the Northeast. This is the Weir Tyne derby, the first one in nearly 10 years in the Premier League. And there's a lot of people watching who might not really know much about this rivalry. The boys explain it well on the Premier League show. What does it mean to Sunderland and Newcastle fans here? And what should we expect on Sunday? And what's the best betting angles for the game?
Well, I grew up about an hour and a half from these places. And there's always that discussion, which is the bitterest rivalry, which is the most horrible game in England. We know Celtic Rangers, blah, blah, blah. We know the Liverpool Man U's. We know the Leeds Man U era when they were the top dogs. But this is geographical. And this is a kind of visceral hatred. I cannot get across to you to our viewers who won't have the historical knowledge of this game that this will be an absolutely vile atmosphere. This is one of them, if you're in the opposing team, you really don't want to go and get the ball. You want to stay in the middle. It's going to be card happy. The old referee Banks is why they've given this game to a card happy referee is insanity. So if we get 22 players on at half time, never mind the end, I'll be staggered. So you've got to look for cards. It's probably going to be a very ugly game. What surprised me, and I know this was mentioned on the Premier League show, of course, is that Newcastle have a surprisingly awful record in this match recently, Steve. They had a midweek game that was intense, late equaliser, good performance, but, you know, they've got to come back from that. Sunderland have been one of the surprise packages of the league. I can see the old 1-0. I think Sunderland are a bet. Newcastle will raise the game. It will be messy, and that always brings in that sort of stop-start. A lot of people want to play draws and unders on games like that. And these derby games often disappoint in terms of football. But this will be, if someone goes in heavy in the first 5 minutes, to me, he has to book them then. And if he's a card-happy ref, he's going to have that, you know, he's going to be ready to produce, isn't he? So if you can't, now I know not every state can get on, but this could be one of those games where you just keep laddering up 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, chuck in a couple of bonus reds and just sit back, because this could be the worst tempered game in the Premier League so far. So again, to just give you the history of it, this is a seriously bitter rivalry.
It really is. It's right up there, and I would have it certainly in the top 5 rivalries in UK soccer. You know, you're right, the old firms up there, Liverpool, Man United. I think the Birmingham derby is underrated as well for this. Birmingham Villa, whenever they meet, if it was in the top flight again.
Brighton Palace.
Brighton Palace. But yeah, this one is geographical. It's 2 old industrial cities, port cities. You know, I said, I think probably the equivalent in the US would be Pittsburgh against someone, you know, maybe against Philly or Baltimore or something like that. But real vitriol hate. I think, you know, for those who can access the cards, I think you'd be looking at cards here. You can parlay both teams for a red at 45-1. Someone was asking about cards, by the way, and this was Mindy Pereira. It's about Nigel gave some information out on the Premier League show about players who are heading to the African Nations Cup and are one.
Oh yeah, who want to get booked.
Yeah, do check the rules for your league, whatever league, because there's actually a player tonight. Bet Rivers are not offering odds on this player. It is Kilonda Gaspar for Lecce. He is Angola's finest, by the way. He is 1 yellow card away from suspension. So will he do the right thing? But again, I suppose you've got to check your league rules, haven't you? I don't know whether certain leagues will be like, if you're on international duty officially, you can't be suspended. I don't know what the local rules would be for certain leagues, but yes, Mindy, I think there's 7 or 8 players across Europe this round who are 1 booking away from a suspension, a technical suspension. And I know that some books have basically they're not offering odds on those players because it's just seen as too, well, risky.
It's dubious, isn't it? It's a grey area. That. But what a dream game for Siddiqui if he fancies that, because nobody can have a go at him, can they?
Well, you can't, can you?
I went
but
in.
What if he was to get booked? What
Yeah.
if though? What if the rule was that he has to serve the suspension when he's officially back from international duty? But define international duty, I don't know. It's a tricky one because I don't know the ins and outs.
It's another little side issue that, and in an already spicy game, you know, it's be very keen to watch him. It's almost one really where would you want to play him? I don't know, but he's an important player for them, isn't he?
Well, look, players can get cards when they want. Remember Jose Mourinho at Real Madrid, time wasting, tactical stuff there. Yeah. It was proven actually they didn't get away with it, did they? But anyway, good luck whatever you are taking this weekend and today. Just looking at some more comments. There's another, Effie's right. There's another massive game. This is a good one for cards as well. The weekend, Ajax Feyenoord in the Netherlands, huge rivalry. So watch out for that one. It's a weekend for rivalry. Jan Mitch says you can find Lecce over 1.5 cards at -145. Well, if one lad is a banker in the book, that could be -145 for 1 card, Jan Mitch. But again, suppose this is when I go to check the Serie A rules.
Yeah, check your small print on these bets before you go in.
Okay, there's a reminder of the daily double. West Brom, Sheffield United, both teams score yes. And Real Sociedad Girona over 7.5 corners. It pays plus 122. Hopefully we can get a winner on the board there, Simon. What's your best bet of the day, though, overall?
I think the West Brom Sheffield United game, both teams to score, yeah. So just pips the Blades on the outright because it's a shorter price. But I think Sheffield United are rocking. And I think they're a team that people should watch over the Christmas period when the games start coming in, because they could be about to go on a sort of 8, 9, 10 winning run. And you want to be riding that wave with them.
Dan Roebuck's come in the chat. Great to see you, Dan. Pisa draw no bet is going to be his selection today against Lecce. He's going against you there, Simon. It's Dan Roebuck.
Not for the first time, Dangerous.
My best bet of the day, yeah, it's the corners. But over 9.5 is a great single bet, I think, in that Girona match against Real Sociedad. And I do like Angers minus 0.25 as well in France. I think that's just a solid sort of bet, which, for those who don't mind losing half, then it's a good percentage one. Betting Weekly Extra Time is out in about 4 minutes' time. Me, James Easton, Dan Roebuck go through the Euro card. We've got, I think, 7 official bets on the card this week and loads of leans as well. Simon, it was a great pleasure as always. Good luck to your toffees tomorrow and good luck with all your plays. Great having you on.
Thank you, mate. The honour was mine.
Dan says it was just a lean on Pisa. And that's where we end.
Oh, a towering success yet again for Dangerous. I'll go now.
Take care. Gamble responsibly. I'll see you on Monday. I think it's with Lewis Jones where we got Man United against Bournemouth on Monday Night Football. But anyway, have a great weekend. See you next time.